I'm like so nervous. Hey guys, my name's Steph. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome. This has actually been the first time I've been filming in probably a little over 2 months. So A, I'm nervous about that, and B, I'm nervous about doing this topic. This has been something I've wanted to put out on my channel for probably years, and it's just a really scary, really vulnerable, really hard to put into words topic. Lit my candles in my aroma. I left it a little darker so you can see that. I just wanted to be in a comfortable environment, and my little pooch is right behind me, so that makes it easier. So today I'm going to tell you about my OCD story. And I've tried to write it out, I've tried to organize it, I've tried to pinpoint, bullet point, all of it, but it just felt wrong. Like it feels like this is a story I just need to tell from my heart and tell you guys really candidly. Might be all over the place, but yeah. And conveniently today I've actually had a really big trigger. So my OCD, and I'll go further into this, but my OCD is based on the fear of death and contamination. So it's gotten a lot worse over the years, and I'll get into that too. I'm getting ahead of myself, but basically I saw a piece of I saw a thong on the side of the road where I parked my car, and a receipt fell and knocked against maybe it might have not touched it even, but OCD has a way of making you believe it touched, and it touched against my leg, and that just terribly freaks me out because I think of the worst. I think it's just underwear. It's gross. Nobody wants to be touching anybody else's underwear. I don't know if they're clean. I don't know the status of them. It was a moment that was not fun. And normally I would come home and I would shower and disinfect and freak out, but I haven't showered. I shower at night. I shower every night. So just so you know, I'm not never showering, but I haven't showered, which is a huge deal for me. I did put my clothes in the laundry, which is a teensy bit of a fail, but I'm doing what I can, and I'm trying to coast and get through this OCD. So, without further ado, we're going to get into my OCD story. So, I'm going to give you some backstory because it helps lead into what happened. So, OCD is a mixture of nature and nurture, in shorter terms. You can have it's part of your DNA. There's things that are in your DNA to make it happen, and it just so happened that I had it in my DNA, I had it in me, and there was basically a fire that just lit it, and it was a moment in my life that it was perfectly timed, and it lit it, and it set it off. So, I don't know if everybody, we all, like anxiety, we all have a little bit of anxiety in us, we all have a little bit of OCD, but it just depends on your magnitude. So, I was about 8 or 9 years old, and there was quite a few deaths in my family. My mom's friend passed away, my grandpa passed away, there was quite a lot of deaths, and I think that, I was so young, I didn't fully understand it, but it was it was there, and yeah, so that happened, and then I was playing outside with some girls on my street, and I remember sticking my hand into, we were making the solution, when we were kids and you used to play with mud and stuff, and so we were playing with this solution, and I remember there being a chemical bottle with what we were playing with, and they're stick your hand in it, stick your hand in it, and me being the young kid I was, I wanted to please everyone. I've always wanted to please everyone, so I stuck my hand in it. And then I pulled my hand out, and they're like, oh, you're gonna die. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, you're gonna die, because whatever in that is gonna make you die. And it freaked me out. I remember being so afraid, and I got on my bike, and I just booked it. And I remember my mom telling me, she's like, I've never seen fear in your face like that. I was bawling, I was just biking, I couldn't even speak to her. So that was the spark that lit the fire. And after that, that's when it begun. And like, it was so long ago. I'm 22 years old now, and I got it when I was 8 or 9. So what my first memories of this were, you know, back in the day when they used to put like that white fertilizer on your lawn, and it like had the signs like, don't step on this fertilizer, blah blah blah. I remember being so afraid to touch the soles of like the bottoms of my shoes. Like, I specifically have a memory being in gym class and I touched the bottom of my shoe, and it was like all I could think about, and I had to go wash my hands. And that's like my earliest memory. It was like very like bottom of my shoes. I was very afraid to touch it, not because of any other contamination, but because of this fertilizer, because I assumed that if I touched it and I touched my mouth, I was going to die. So kind of started off like that, like minor things, you know, it was here or there. And then I remember getting into like high school and grade school, and I would go to school and then I would go home and I would put my clothes immediately in the laundry. It was like they were tainted the minute they left my house. They were tainted. So it was a lot of laundry. It wasn't fun for my mom. So I like couldn't re-wear clothes. Like, it terrified me. And then it got a little better where I realized I was doing way too much laundry, so I would like kind of keep them in a separate corner. Like, it was funny too, because a lot of my like people were like, you can't have OCD, you're so messy, like your room is so messy. But it was my mess, and like it was the way I could it was the way I could tell what was dirty. Like, I put a dirty pile there, I wouldn't touch it, because if it went into my wardrobe, I'm speaking all English, if it went into like my closet or my drawers, it would taint everything else. So I kept it. It was like organized chaos for me, which is interesting. Not a lot of other people liked it, but it worked for me. And yeah, it just progressively throughout the years, it's gotten worse. And OCD is a very conniving, very smart, I like to think of it as an entity. Kind of creepy, but like, it is. Like, it's something that's just so insidious and so smart. Like, it knows how to find other avenues to be afraid of. So just, I would start to be afraid of more things. Like, I would be afraid of like cold sores. Terrified me. Like, anybody in my school who had a cold sore, I was terrified. I was always washing my hands, always had to have hand sanitizer. I have eczema, so eczema and hand washing doesn't mix. It can make it very, very angry, and I was washing my hands so much that I could literally put my hand in a fist and it would just crack and bleed. So there was a lot of roughness there. I remember working at Starbucks, and just like, there's so much back and forth with money, there's so much coughing. Like, I would be washing my hands so much. My hands, that is like my biggest point of OCD, was my hand washing. Now, conveniently, as I've gotten older, it's gone to like whole body. Like, I'm just very afraid of being like tainted, and I don't like the feeling of being dirty. It makes me feel very uncomfortable. Like, certain areas, I know, like, this is weird to say because I've never admitted it, but like, everybody loves Toronto, and it's actually one of the things that set me off the most. And it's just because it's so many people, and it's like slightly dirty. Like, no offense but to anyone, but like, Toronto's a little bit dirty, and like, it just sets me off. There's so many things. Like, I like space, and I like to be able to manage my own space, and like, when people impede my space, it stresses me out. Like the train, like, oh my god, like, ugh. But yeah, it's so hard to think like on the spot all the things that terrify me, because like, there's a lot. Like, I started like changing before I go out of the house. Like, most people, if they're just running to the store, they'll just go in their pajamas and they'll come back and sit in their bed. I cannot do that. I had to have like around the house clothes, and then I would have like in my bed clothes. Getting a drink of water, I would have to get the drink, pour the water in my cup, and then wash my hands, and then go get the glass. Like, all of these things that are so like day by day, so simple, they're not for me. Just turning on the tap to brush your teeth. I would have to turn on my tap, wash my hands, and then brush my teeth. There's just all those things, like public bathrooms are a huge no-no for me. I'm really working on it, but they terrify me to death. And it actually, in grade school, I would not use the bathroom. I mean, I'm not through grade school. I mean, all through school, I would not use the bathroom. And that's so bad for you. Like, please, if you have OCD, know it's bad for you. It actually can lead to, like, cancer and all those things, which terrifies me to death. That disease, like, horrifies me. But yeah, I could go on and on and on about all of the weird, crazy things I do, and, yeah, it's not an easy thing, and that's why I'm making this video, is because it's so misunderstood and so unheard of, and it can make you feel so alone and so much like a burden. Like, I have learned to hide it very, very well. I internalize my episodes very, very well that a lot of people wouldn't even know. Throughout high school, I was called weird, and like if I turned off the tap with like a paper towel, my friends would be like, why are you doing that? That's so weird. I'm like, it just, honestly, it makes sense. Like, it's one of those things that just makes sense. But I wouldn't open doors. Like, I would have to open all the doors with my sleeve, and then eventually I didn't want my sleeve to get tainted, so I had to use paper towels. A lot of my family just knows to go open doors for me. That's actually been a huge part of my OCD recovery, is like holding doors. I don't try on clothes at the thrift store anymore. I try them on at home, and then I shower immediately after. It's really hard for me to come on camera and like tell you all of the things I do, because when you say it, it sounds so crazy. It sounds so weird, and like people just look at you strange, like, why can't you do normal things? And they're like, or get over it. And honestly, the mind is really, really powerful, and when it's coming from inside your head, you believe it, because it's coming from you. It's coming from, like, OCD is a part of you, and it's so tricky and so confusing, and like I said, it's insidious. Like, one of the key points to recovery is that it's going to find other avenues to be afraid of. And it has kind of leaked into my relationships. Like, I think I've always had that, but OCD is not just hand washing. It's not just being afraid of germs. It's also manipulates your emotions with people. It can manipulate your relationships and tell you that nobody loves you or you're a burden. Like, all of these things, it's so complex. And I just want to educate people, because I had no idea. I had no idea in the beginning. I always thought it was just like, oh, you like things organized. No. And like, it's so much more than that, and it's so smart, and it can make you look weird to people, and it makes people not understand, and it's very, very lonely mental illness. Like, not that anxiety and depression are any easier, but I feel like people understand anxiety. They're like, okay, you're stressed. And, like, I know there's still people who don't understand it, but it's starting to be more well known, which I'm so happy about. I'm so glad that anxiety and depression are being heard of and being listened to and being taken seriously. But I also want OCD to be taken seriously, because I hide it all the time. Like, when I meet new people, I'm scared to tell them things. Like, travel is terrifying to me, because I'm out of my element. I have no safe zone. You're out for hours and hours in a day that you have to use public bathrooms. Like, it's a battle, and it holds you back from so many things. And through my, like, recovery, I've noticed certain things that I'm getting time back. Like, washing your hands multiple times takes time. Doing all these extra steps takes time. Like, it takes time away from your life. Like, things that take people 2 seconds don't take people with OCD 2 seconds. And it is like tapping on things 3 times to make sure, but again, it's only like a part of it. There's such a broad span of different OCDs, and it blows me away, the complexity of it and the just OCD. And if you don't know what it is, you to research it, and if you know anyone with OCD, be patient. Like, we're all trying really, really hard. And I just wanted to thank you guys, because I've met so many of you who've reached out to me and shared your own OCD stories. And it's so awesome to have somebody be like, oh my gosh, I just went to the grocery store in my pajamas and I didn't change. And then being like, yes, that's awesome. So I am so off track. I don't know where I've started. I started like with how it kind of began and what the feelings are around it, I guess. I'm trying to like organize it in my head. I don't want to go on for too long because I've already been talking for 16 minutes and I don't want this story to be crazy. But if you guys want more videos about like my recovery, and you want like a video of like a day in the life of a girl with OCD or something, I don't know. I'm really trying to be more open about it. I want to focus more into mental health on this channel. And I want to hear from you guys if you are comfortable and you want to share your OCD stories, or if you know anyone with OCD, or if you have any questions about OCD, definitely leave them in the comments below. I'm so nervous because I feel like I'm not doing it justice. Like, that is my biggest fear, is like I'm not explaining it enough, or I'm not showing enough or telling enough. But I do share a lot of content on OCD and mental health on my Instagram. And I've shared multiple stories, so if you ever want to look at that, you can. But I'm so nervous. I'm so scared to not be doing this, like, justice. Like, I really, really hope you guys got something from this, and I will be doing more videos. I feel like I've probably missed a lot, but I don't want you guys sitting for, like, a 40-minute video be like, I have OCD, this is what it's about. And I was gonna make it really, really artsy and kind of like do some overlay, but I feel like it's right in my soul to just keep this a sit down, and I know that can be boring to some, but this is an important topic, and I feel like it just needs a soul sit down explanation, and I can always do like in my life to show you like the thoughts and stuff that goes on it, because yeah, it's very complex. Oh, but I should mention like what it is like to have OCD, because I forgot to mention that. So basically, what happens in my case, because I'm not going to speak for everybody because OCD is so different. So basically, I will have a trigger, and it's like a non-stop thought. Like, you feel like you're you, but you're not you. Like, it's all you can think about. It's like tunnel vision. It's like a focus that you cannot distract, and it's like a tingling sensation. Like, if I get something on my hands, I can literally see it on my hands. It's like a film. I don't want to touch anything. Everything, I can track everything I've touched. I can track what other people touch. I can hear things now that like people are touching certain things. OCD's really heightened all my senses. And so basically it's like you can't focus on anything else until you do the compulsion, which in my case is either washing my hands or taking a shower, like those type of things. And then you're like, whew, and it takes the anxiety away and you feel much better. But the thing that is tricky, oh my gosh, I thought my mic was off. Oh God. Okay. But the thing that's tricky about OCD is that each time you do the compulsion, you feel better. It's like, oh, I got her under my strings, and it just keeps going, and it just keeps telling you like, oh, well, this step you could have done this, or you have to do this, and your compulsions get more and more complicated, and more steps and more things to be afraid of. So right now in recovery, I have to go against everything my mind is telling me. So if I touch something, I have to touch something else. I have to, like, you know, open doors and rub it on my face. Like, pretty much you can't be a normal person even in recovery, because what a normal person, they just open the door, do whatever. You have to open the door and rub it all over yourself. Like, you pretty much have to be like, hey, OCD, you asshole, excuse my tone, this is what I'm gonna do, and you're not gonna like it, and that sucks for you. So for anyone who's going through OCD or going through recovery, you're stronger than your OCD. Today, I thought I didn't shower. I mean, I washed my clothes, which I shouldn't have, but we all have to give ourselves a break, and we have to take it step by step by step. And I'm learning that reassurance is the world's worst thing to do when you have OCD. You have to not reassure yourself. You have to not ask for reassurance because it just lets OCD take a grasp and hold on tighter. And the more you do that, the more it's let back in and will find new avenues to scare you. So, FOCD. And I hope you guys learned something from this. I hope you guys took something from this, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, leave me any OCD content requests or questions. I love you guys so much, and thank you for listening to my story. I'm sorry it was all over the place, but I felt like I had to be me, and I don't like to plan things. I just kind of like to jump into them and see what happens, and I hope you guys liked it, and I love you guys so much. I really do. So click the subscribe button and the notification bell if you want to see my next upload. There will be more to come. I'll be doing some fall content. I don't want every video to be about mental health because there's so much more to life than mental health. We are not our mental health, or our mental illness, I should say. We are not our mental illness. And yeah, some fall content is coming, some vlogs, and yeah, leave me any requests that you want to see for a fall video, and let me know if you want to see a fall essentials next or a Halloween music drive with me. I want to leave it to you guys. So yeah, I love you guys so much, and yeah, don't forget to follow me on my socials because I post on those a lot too, and it's very mental health related, and you guys can get to know me a little bit more if you want. Yeah, I love you guys so much, and seriously, thank you so much for watching this. I don't want you thinking that I'm super peppy and happy because this is easy, or because I'm like, yeah, mental illness sucks. No, it's just because you guys always make me excited and happy, and I'm so happy to be filming again. And yeah, the break was needed, but I'm back. This year I've been fighting my OCD a lot, so it can be very exhausting. Yeah. I'm rambling. I should get off now. I love you guys so much.